Hey, everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network, another edition of Off the Top Rope. Some other dynamite thoughts here. We got to talk about Ricochet. I've been critical of him, but you know what? I got to hand it to him. Ricochet's been pretty damn entertaining as a heel. I got to give it to him. Now, in saying that, needing to get heat on him by having Zach Gowen, of all people, who, by the way, for a guy we haven't seen on television in 20 years, Zach Gowen still looked pretty good. The one-legged moonsault still slaps. Like I gotta give it credit. Listen, it was harmless. You know, Ricochet works his ass off. He's very entertaining in the ring. His heel character's kind of getting over. But what did this accomplish? What did this accomplish? Ricochet is already hated as a heel. Mark Briscoe comes out for the save. Like, what does this accomplish? Like, what are we getting at? Like, a couple weeks ago, Ricochet was interacting with the Young Bucks, and you were thinking maybe he was going to get involved in Anarchy in the Arena. Now he's wrestling a guy who hasn't been on North American television in 20 years. Like, yeah, Ricochet has impressed me with his ability to get heat. And, you know, I think he's been a little bit too chronically online, like a lot of the AEW fan base and even the AEW CEO and president, Tony Khan, is. But, you know, I saw this when they made this on Collision, and I was like, oh man, they're really gonna put this on Beach Break. Like, it was a fine match, and it was actually, you know, somewhat entertaining for what it was. But, you know, it just, to me, in terms of like building a story and building a character, like what does Ricochet do from here? He beat a one-legged wrestler who hasn't who got his ass kicked by Brock Lesnar 22 years ago. Like, okay, cool. Got his ass kicked in front of his family. He stole his prosthetic leg, which I think was a little bit over the line. But you know what? Hey, it gets whatever can get you heat, I guess, you know, for them is good. And, you know, considering where Ricochet was when he got to AEW, when he left WWE, it didn't connect really as a babyface. And you know, they went to the Osprey match way too soon. And you know, that's another part of this that kind of pisses me off. Maybe they should have just let Ricochet cook a little bit and then get to the Osprey match at some point. And you know, who knows if Will Osprey ultimately wins the Owen Cup over Hangman Adam Page, which I personally wouldn't do. Maybe Ricochet is an opponent right out of that, which I wouldn't hate. But I don't think you needed to go to these lengths and go to this desperation to bring in a guy who's not wrestling for you, who hasn't been seen on television and was on a WWE show 22 years ago. I didn't even realize he was in Ring of Honor, so maybe that was the tie to it as well. But like I said, okay, cool. Like, you brought in a guy, like he did some fun stuff. It was a decent little match. But I just Ricochet was doing fine. It's like you said, you don't really need to add, like, you know, this sort of shit to, because now what's going to happen? He's going to face Mark Briscoe at the pay per view, maybe. Who Mark Briscoe beat him recently. What's he going to face? Kevin Knight. I mean, yeah, if you're going to try and build him up to be like some big level heel, but and maybe that's the direction of where this is going. But this just felt like, you know, once you get past the fact that, okay, Ricochet gets his heat, he gets a win, he puts a win in, fine, but like, it's just, I didn't think it was necessary. But I will say this, coming out of that, the one thing that jumped out to me is like, man, I've been really, really impressed with what they've done with Ricochet. Because a lot of people, when he did turn heel, thought that Samantha Irvin was going to end up being like his manager or something because she wanted. And to be honest with you, I'm actually cool with, you know, Ricochet just being a solo act. He's actually done a really good job and really molded himself into something that really, it's really hard to do when you really don't have a semblance of a character and you're really uninteresting as a babyface and you're all based around flips and dives and, you know, super kicks and a bunch of bullshit. But he's done something that is not really easy to do. And he's kind of generated something and picked up some steam here. So I hope that they do some more with him moving forward. But yeah, like I said, this felt like a waste of time because it's like you knew Ricochet was winning. He already got his heat with the prosthetic leg. I think you would have been better served bringing in somebody from, you know, you would have been better served maybe using somebody on your own roster rather than bringing in Zach Gowen, who people haven't cared about in 20 years. But, you know, like I said, it was fun. It was okay. And not anything outwardly terrible. And again, my big takeaway is I'm impressed with Ricochet. I really am. And I've been critical of him with some of the shit that he's done on social media and some of the shit that he's resorted to get heat. But hey, I've seen some of the I saw some of the stuff he did with Swerve. That feud was pretty damn great. One of the best things they did this year. So if they can continue on the right trajectory with Ricochet, I think they've got something here. And if Osprey wins the tournament and goes to All In and wins there, maybe you got something cooked up for the world title further down the line, which it would have been a hell of a lot more interesting had you not immediately jumped into the pool and gone immediately to Ricochet and Osprey 3 weeks after you signed him. So that's another big issue with this whole thing. But that being said, like it it didn't really do anything. But if you're looking for a positive here, of very few that's been going on in this place, what they've been doing with Ricochet, even if it's kind of abrasive and obnoxious, he's doing his job. Got to give him credit, man. So, all right. Thanks so much for watching here. I will see you guys soon.